We can't do the same things in the same way and expect different results. It's time to create change that will have meaningful impact on our life. This is Katie Gordon, and you're listening to the Wait is Over podcast. Welcome, health and freedom seekers. Sit back and relax as you come on this journey of overcoming obstacles so you can lose weight, gain health, and live the life you've been looking for. Hello, listeners, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Katie Gordon, and the wait is over with Dietless Living 360 degrees. There's no recipes, food regimes, or exercise programs to follow. This is simply about how to take your life back, how to take control, because we all have a voice and we want to be heard. We want to forget about dieting, focus on living, and lose weight. But to do that, we need to create a new mindset, a mindset that gets us over the obstacles and challenges of life and our own unconscious programs, because that's what's really impacting on our weight and health and causing habit relapse. And the purpose of this podcast is to share with you what I learned over 25 years in dieting hell and spending over $100,000 working out how to step into dietless living. And today we're talking about another weight loss obstacle related to food, by getting to know our food so that we can say no to food. And all we have to do is actually turn the product around and read what's on the label. So one of the easiest things that I learned to do when I was working out how to step out of dieting hell and into dietless living was how to educate myself on food. Now, I did work in the organic industry for 10 years, so I had quite a leg up in regards to understanding labels, what's in food, how marketing positions things, so that we think that the food is good for us when in reality it's not. And it doesn't matter what's actually written on the front of a label. Everything we need to know is written on the back in the ingredients and the nutritional table. And that's why they're so small to read, right? Because they don't really want us to be reading that part. They just want us to focus on the flashy front, which is all about getting the food from the shelf into your trolley. That's the only purpose of a label. But by law, they also need to give us the information that we need so that we can make an educated choice for ourselves. And that information is the ingredients list and the nutritional table. And the first thing to remember is that the first three ingredients on an ingredients list make up the majority of the product. So if you only take away from this podcast one thing today, that would be the one to take away. Because if you look at an ingredients list and there's a list of 75 things, and way down in the bottom of the list are some, healthy herbs or something that seems like, oh, it's got that in it, that means it's good for me. That is the least. The more ingredients in the product, the least they become the further down the list. So just think of it as the first three ingredients make up the majority of the product. So if the first three ingredients are sugars or fats of any kind, then you want to put it back on the shelf, because that's basically what you're going to be consuming is just fats and sugars. However, we have a human brain, and marketing knows how to market to our human brain. We also run through a supermarket. We're usually shopping when we're stressed or tired or tense or haven't got much time, whatever it is we're doing. And marketing is there to take advantage of that. And our brain just gets sucked in by marketing. That's what marketing is meant to do, right? It's meant to get that product off the shelf and into your trolley. So when I have an urge to purchase something, I like to pull my logical self back to the shopping area, right? It comes back to mindfulness and being present with ourselves, because what happens is, like I said, we run through the supermarket. We're not in our logical self. We're focused on some point in the distance, either getting home, getting through traffic, picking up the kids, whatever it is. And we're not actually present. And that's how we end up going in for 2 or 3 things and coming out with a trolley load of stuff. So the urge to purchase actually happens because we are running through there and our brain is looking around going, oh, yes, yes, yes. Look at those. Look at those. We've got a lot of tension in our body at the moment. Please grab that, grab that, grab. Oh, that'll be quick. That'll be yummy. Put that in the cupboard. And it's so easy to fill our trolley. So we really do have to bring our logical self back into the supermarket where our body is. And to do that, we simply just need to take a breath and slow ourselves down. You know, we can run through the supermarket, or we can just quite easily walk through it with awareness and know it's really not going to make any difference to the amount of time that we're in there. And so when I feel the urge to purchase something, when my brain gets sucked in by marketing and I go, oh, yes, look at that. That looks really good. I bring my logical self back online simply by reading the label. And 99 times out of 100, that product will go back on the shelf. So this is a really easy thing to do, and anyone can do it. Everyone has the capability of just picking up a product and reading the label, unless you're like me and your eyesight is so bad that you almost need a magnifying glass to read some of them, because they do make them really tiny, or they make the font color not contrast so well with the label, and it just makes it impossible to read them. In that case, I figured they're just probably dodgy and it all goes back on the shelf anyway. But these are my rules for leaving things on the supermarket shelf. And I'm sure that you will find these tips really easy to implement for yourself. If there's more than a few ingredients on the label and they're not all herbs, spices, and whole foods, it goes back on the shelf. As a rule of thumb, you want to go for, if you're buying a product with an ingredients list, the maximum you would really sort of look at is 5, 6, or 7 ingredients. Any more than that, and you're running into something that is really, really super processed to give it a mouth feel, a taste feel, something, you know, they've added a lot of things, unless, like I said, those extra ingredients are simply herbs, spices, and whole foods. If I can't pronounce an ingredient, or if any of the ingredients are derived from another ingredient, for example, if something says, you know, this is blah, blah, and it's derived from coconut, it goes back on the shelf. Anything that is derived from something else simply means that coconut, or whatever it is, has been so processed and broken down that they've then been able to take out an ingredient. And they say it's derived from coconut, and our brain goes, oh, coconut, that's good for me. That's going to be good for me. No, because the chemical process that has occurred to get that little whatever that is derived from coconut is just, it's awful. You don't want anything to do with it. It all goes back on the shelf. If there are any artificial sweeteners or even natural sweeteners that calorie-free, such as stevia, it all goes back on the shelf. If there are any numbers at all, it goes back on the shelf. If it has margarine, not butter, if it has canola oil or vegetable oil, or any oil that isn't extra virgin olive oil, it stays on the shelf. Or if it has any kind of added flavors, preservatives, or colors, it stays on the shelf. We need to get back to eating more whole foods, natural foods, foods in their natural state. That it's just as simple as that, because there shouldn't be any difference between losing weight and being healthy. We want both. We want to lose weight so that we can have energy, health, and vitality, and live a long and happy life and do things that make us happy. We want freedom of movement. We want to be able to go for walks. We want to have enjoyment and outside time. We want to feel good. We want to wake up in the morning feeling happy and refreshed. And in the weight loss industry, food and weight loss don't always actually equal health. So just think about the food that you're purchasing, read the label, and just sort of make an educated choice for yourself based on your knowledge and skills, and just think, is it going to take me to the health I want as well as the weight loss I want? These things need to be connected. We're customers, we're not consumers. Marketing sees us as a consumer and a demographic whose money they have yet not gotten a slice of. And when we remember that, it's easier to say no to poor quality food. We can demand more. We need to demand more. We need to demand that they provide us with food that is actually going to provide us health and vitality and proper nutritional value. We don't actually want all the artificially sweetened foods. And when we remember that, it's easier to say no to poor quality food. We need to demand more of the food manufacturers. And in fact, we demand more of the food manufacturers simply by not purchasing the food that they have created for us. And I say created because they do create all these ingredients. And, it's their business to make money. That's their job. Their job is to sell product because they're a business. But our job is to elevate our health. And we do that by protecting our health from harmful substances. So step one is just to be curious and start reading labels on everything that is already in your pantry, your fridge, and your freezer. Just be curious. You don't have to throw anything out. You don't have to do anything with it. Just get curious about what you've been purchasing. Maybe you've already been making great choices, and maybe there's some things that you go, well, maybe I don't really want to purchase that anymore. I don't think that's going to give me the health that I'm looking for. Just be curious about what you've already been consuming. And step two then is to start looking at the labels before you actually put it into your trolley. Is there a better version of what it is that you want available on the shelf? Have a look at the range of labels there. There's 50 million things to buy of any one type of product. Don't be suckered in by organic or healthy or good for you. Read the label. The label tells the truth, and that's where you get to make an educated choice for yourself. So just think about whether what it is that you're going to buy, is it going to give you the slender body and the health that you want? And step three is just start to cultivate an attitude of indifference to marketing, and think of it like it's the wizard behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. Marketing kind of makes itself this big, almighty, I know everything. And, here it is on the label. It's fat-free, calorie controlled, only this many calories per serve, whatever jargon they're using on the front. But at the back is the wizard, the person behind the curtain. Well, actually, it might only be this many calories per serve, but the reason for that is because we've got all these things in it that are not good for your health. It's your body. Be choosy about what it is that you're putting into it. If you want cakes and biscuits and those sorts of things, make them yourself from good quality ingredients. Enjoy it. Remember when I talked about foodie foreplay? That's foodie foreplay, is baking something for yourself. Don't bake big batches though, make small batches, just a half batch, so you get just a few or just enough for one serve. Just keep it simple and keep it natural. And just remember that the food that you eat is either helping your body or harming it. It's either relaxing it or causing tension in it. And if it's causing tension in it, it's keeping you on that eating cycle, which is going to keep you stuck in the weight that you are. And we really want to lose weight, but we want to have health as well. And if we want to lose weight, we have to create change. And that means we literally have to change the way we do things, which means we have to start making different choices. And the way to making different choices is simply by educating ourselves and making an educated choice about what it is that we're consuming. We can't trust that what is written on the front of the label as the marketing copy that is there to sell it. We can't trust that information. We have to pick it up, look at the back, and read the ingredients label. It's a very simple thing, doesn't take very long. We can't do the same things in the same way and expect different results. It's time to create change that will have meaningful impact on our life. So thank you for watching or listening today. If you want more help with this, simply book in for a private session and let's just get it done this week, because life is for living and an ounce of adjustment is always easier to implement than 20 pounds of change. It's time to enjoy the life you've been looking for.